Almost half of my life, my mother and I would talk on and off and hadn't talked for almost half of my life. And this last time, it's almost 8 years. And God says, it doesn't mean that your feelings are not valid. It does not mean that you do not matter. He said, you matter so much that I want to ensure that when the time comes, you make it back to me. So Jonah felt justified as to why he was doing what he was doing based upon the premise of how they treated his people. But it didn't give Jonah a right. And so as God began to deal with me and I began to pray and consecrate myself and ask God to show me how am I supposed to go about this way of forgiveness, the initial stage was my best friend because God was leading me to something greater, because God wanted to mend what had been broken between my mother and I. And so I asked God, okay, God, if you're telling me to do this, then you're going to have to do this in a different kind of way, because I'm still trying to give God excuses even after seeing that. And then I'm riding down the street and then God tells me, he said, what if I treated you the way that you treat the people who have betrayed you? He said, because think about it, my child. You too have betrayed me. The reality of it is that we don't think that we betray God, but we betray God in such a way because sin is betrayal to God. And I began to think about, if God treated me and treated the situation how I was handling that situation, I would break if God treated me that way. So for all of you who are struggling with unforgiveness, I want you to think about this, because the word of God says that God says he forgives them for his own sake. You often hear people say that you don't forgive for them, you forgive for yourself, but no one ever expounds. Well, I want to expound on it for you today, because when God told me you're not forgiving for her, you're forgiving for your own sake. This has nothing to do with her and everything to do with you, because I do not want you to allow any situation to come and draw a wedge between you and I, because between you and I right now, there is a wedge. There is a wedge because what you are operating in is not me. So I asked God, I said, God, then if this be you, make her reach out to me. That next morning I woke up, I had started back on Facebook again, and I had a message in my messenger. And my mother says, hello, Some Liberty Girl. I love you. I miss you.